Good morning, friends and family. Welcome back to Coffee Conversations with Stephan, Koffie Klets met Stephan. So this last week, we kind of looked at the helmet of salvation. And yesterday I said I'm going to conclude with it. And I am, but I want to not conclude with that verse because Ephesians chapter 6 verse 17 continues and it talks about the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. And I want to tell you a little bit about this sword because as a young Christian, I always thought it's this massive big sword. And, so the word that is used is mache, or, it's a small sword, a small dagger-like sword. And it was usually used, the word that is used in the Greek, this little sword was usually used for cutting and for stabbing. Okay. It was extremely difficult, they said, to approach a soldier well trained in the use of this little sword, for it was short and could be moved rapidly. Just think about it. Just think about the Word of God that should be so close to you. The Bible says, meditate on the Word of God day and night in Joshua chapter 1. And the word should be in your mouth. It should be near you. It should be engraved on your heart. Meditating on the Word of God is so, so important. So this is the last part of the armor of God. And it's the only offensive weapon that can also be used defensive. But it's literally an offensive weapon. And what's interesting is that history tells us that this little sword was skillfully used, in the hand of somebody. But the word, it says that it's the Spirit, the sword of the Spirit. In actual fact, what it should read there is the sword that the Spirit supplies. This is not your sword. It's the Spirit. And you always have to keep a tension between word and spirit. I've often said that the word of God without the Spirit of God is just very brutal. The Bible's very clear. It's going to crush you. But if we only use the Spirit and we only want to be spiritual and look at everything spiritual, then it becomes very sentimental. So it's brutality versus sentimentality. And I want to combine the two, and I say this is the truth. The reality is the Word of God. And it should be close to you. Now, if in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12, it says this: the Word of God is living. It's powerful. In Romans, it says that the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it's the power of God unto salvation. The Word of God. And this is what I want to encourage you with today, is that you go and you read the Word of God. The Bible talks about the washing of the Word, renewing our minds daily with the washing of the Word of God. Let the Word of God, and that word is Rhema, it's the spoken Word of God, especially a word as uttered by a living voice. You need to hear God speak that is living. So that's why Hebrews says the Word of God is living and active. It's not a dead thing. It's not just a bunch of words on a piece of parchment and a piece of paper. It is the Word of God that is living and active. And then it continues in Hebrews 4. It says it's sharper than any two-edged sword. A few days back, I said to you, Satan has got a two-edged sword as well. And the one side is doubt and the other side is fear. And these are the things that he wants to bring at you. And he wants to hack at your brain and your mind. That's why you need to have the helmet of salvation on. But we also have a sword, the sword of the Spirit. That the sword that the Spirit supplies. And it says that sword is the same word that is used there. And it's good for piercing as far as the division of soul and spirit, of both joints and marrow, and able to judge the thoughts and the intentions of the heart. By reading the Word of God, it judges your thoughts and your intentions of your heart. It divides. It cuts deep. Sometimes we need to let the Word of God cut us. And I want to encourage you with this morning, that you go today, in this weekend, in this week, in the weeks to come, that you meditate on God's words. My first sermon that I preached was about Selah, becoming still. Ponder on him. And you need to take the word of God this morning and let it be in your mouth. Let it be in your heart. Engrave it there. Often I've asked the Lord, I said, Lord, if I get cut or squeezed, may your word come out. May I bleed the word. May your words come out from my mouth, and my response will always be from the word of God. I want to bless you. Enjoy Jesus in the word. And maybe we can look at how to read the word, and there's lots of things that's out there that I can help you with. But this morning I want to encourage you, read the word, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Have a great day and bless you.